Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sky's second anniversary live stream. I'm Robert Wing, and I'm a member of That Game Company's community team. Today, I'm joined by senior producer Elena Nikora, gameplay guy, that's a real title, and we'll get into that later, Kyle Holdwick, and back for his second live stream appearance, creating even more wonderful art, it's art director Cecil Kim. How is everyone doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, doing awesome.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, the stream is definitely, everything is working as planned. This is a very live stream, and we definitely were not freaking out for 30 minutes before this. We made it work. So obviously, there may be folks in the chat who don't know kind of, what a senior producer is, what a gameplay guy is, maybe what an art director is, although that one's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and take some time to kind of briefly introduce ourselves before we kind of get into the rest of the stream. So Kyle, you have the most interesting title. Let's go ahead and start with you.
Yeah, so, we were talking about what do I do, and it's one of those things where I do a lot of things from designing, certain elements of Sky to actually programming certain elements of Sky to working on bugs in Sky to helping the team in any way I can. So it's kind of hard to title that sometimes. And, I was just thinking about it. It's like, I guess I'm the gameplay guy, and I can help on really almost anything. I like helping people. It's one of my favorite things. And, it's almost like Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'm Kyle Holdwick, the gameplay guy, And so that was kind of where some of that idea came from. What do I do day to day? I think, one of my favorite things that I always tell everybody is I'm the father of the krill. So all the late nights and all the frustrations playing Sky and getting beat down by the krill, you can thank me for some of that stuff, and I'm okay with that. I worked on the crabs, almost all the creatures that you'll find in the world of Sky. I worked on, butterflies, birds, mantas, all kinds of stuff. Really enjoy doing that. I think I've helped on every single season now that we've shipped, and really when I kind of think about like what do I enjoy doing, I think one of my favorite things that I enjoy doing is kind of hitting an emotion with gameplay, whether that be, we want to hit fear right with the krill, or whether that be, you want to hit some joy or excitement, and you see the butterflies kind of fly to the player and lift them up and swirl around, right? Add a little bit of magic to the world of Sky. And I enjoy interactive systems. I enjoy kind of, magic. So I think that's probably the best way to explain what I do. But like I said, I do a lot of things. I occasionally wear cowboy hats and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a great description. And, I will say, Kyle, every time I've needed help, since I've joined That Game Company, you've been right there. So it's always appreciated. Definitely one of the most helpful members of the studio. Elena, what does a senior producer do?
Thanks to Kyle, we already have krills and everything, so it's not much really for us to do. But actually, production is like a glue to the company. We also wear many hats, and we do a lot of play many roles. But our main mission is to deliver this beautiful, amazing, magical design and ideas to the players. And on production side, we have very different specialization. We can work with the different disciplines, engineering, art, design, and specialize in these disciplines. We also do a lot of planning and scheduling and this amazing, not boring stuff at all. We distribute information amongst the people in the studio, and we often, like knowledge keepers, we remember everything here. But the main thing is for us, yes, we take what developers creating and we deliver it like nicely packed and prepared and then deliver it to players. So all this magic to be delivered, you need a producer for it.
It's true. We definitely appreciate producers around TGC. So thank you, Elena, for all that you do and keeping us organized and helping us deliver the magic of Sky to the players. Cecil, so you were on the live stream last time, and you did explain what an art director did, but obviously we have some folks who have yet to get to know you. So why don't you talk about your role at TGC?
Yeah, so my role is art director. So we have a group of artists that are working on visual side of the game, right? So starting from conceptual stage where we have to design like locations and characters, And then also like you guys play the game, and there's definitely like quest needs to be like kind of scripted and also storyboarded out. So it's pretty involved with design. So we work simultaneously. We go back and forth, and like making sure. My job is pretty much making sure everything stays consistent, and then also the quality of the work we do is something that we always be proud of. So my job as an art director is, we have many disciplines in our team, from 3D modeling to concept, animation, everything. And I'm not good at anything. I'm pretty much, everyone is expert in their own field. So basically I'm kind of like making sure everyone is supported, and then they have all the right information. Yeah, so it's basically like making sure everyone is supported, and then we, because as an artist, I can understand what artists need, so I basically focus a lot on that. And then artists wants to work with inspired, right? Work with artists that they can inspire each other. So, I mean, TGC is certainly the place that everyone in the design to production, we cross communicate a lot of stuff, and yeah, everyone inspires each other. So that's what
that's a great description. I want to highlight Nasty Mold in the chat. I'm not good at anything, while Cecil draws really well and talks. So I think we would all disagree with you on that point, but definitely appreciate the support you bring to the art team here at TGC. Senior manager live community is kind of a fancy way of describing community manager. So folks out there on the social media channels, the rest of the members of the team I work on out there collecting player feedback, passing along your wonderful ideas to the development team, kind of all those communications-oriented things. That's a lot of what community does, organizing live streams, the developer update videos. We kind of work with the various designers and people at TGC to script those and then help shoot and edit. Community kind of does a little bit of everything, where it pertains to interacting with players. So it is a wonderful job. You all are a wonderful community, and I'm routinely reminded of how fortunate I am to get to work in the service of players like you. So with everyone now introduced, I do want to talk a little bit about why we're here. So last Thursday, we went on to the official Sky Reddit, and we put a thread there to kind of collect some questions from you all. Now, Sky has been around for 2 years. We've had a lot of great times together. I'm sure there's a lot of questions from the players, as far as like, what are the things going on that you don't see, right? Like, what's it like to work at TGC? Maybe you have some kind of long-standing questions you'd like answered. So I think it was somewhere around almost 300 questions, I want to say. So great turnout there. And, unfortunately, we can't answer all of them, but I did want to pick out some of them to have the folks here answer. We try to get a mix of hopefully questions that'll give you some perspective of what it's like to work at TGC, maybe some of the hilarious anecdotes, and there are a lot that come from working at the studio. And also just touch on a few outstanding questions. We would be remiss if we didn't provide answers for some of the most regularly asked questions. So without any further ado, as Cecil continues to draw what looks like Cake Mountain, just go ahead and hop into the question. So this first one is for everyone. This first question is, I would like to know what the developers find to be the most challenging, rewarding aspect of maintaining a game like this, where its players and fans are so involved. So we'll go ahead and start off with Kyle. Kyle, what do you think is kind of the most challenging and rewarding aspect of working on a game like Sky?
I think from my perspective, we've been kind of continuing to advance the game, like grow the game every time we do a new build. We have big new features coming out, like shared spaces, more recently. And I think like as you kind of continue to pile rocks up into a mountain, you'll find that, certain rocks want to fall down, and it can be a little bit harder to maintain this mountain that you're building. So really, from my perspective, the hardest part is actually like containing the bugs, containing the issues, keeping everyone focused, keeping, the motivation high, and keeping the fun there, right? I mean, we're making games. It's supposed to be fun. And So that's been especially as we've grown the team and as we're kind of growing the game and keeping Sky fresh every time. I think that's been one of the challenges. Now, what I'll say though is I'm a big part of working on the build every time, and there is some magic, and it's hard to describe it if you're not a developer, so I'll do my best. But there's a magic to shipping a build, and what happens a lot of the times is the whole team kind of comes together. The artists and the designers and the programmers, everybody's kind of coming together to get the magic into the game and get it out and have it bug free, as best we can, and just have that build go out and have our players, right, the community, you guys, have a chance to play it and hopefully like it, hopefully see something magical to you. And that's a really fun part of the job. And it's very rewarding to read, the comments on Discord and just see what everybody thinks of this new build. We just recently got the Switch out, and that was incredibly rewarding. It was exactly what I was just describing, where we were just working super hard together as a group. So I think that's kind of like challenges, but also some of the rewards. That's in my opinion, how I think about that.
Great answer. Elena, what would you say is one of the more challenging and also rewarding aspects of working on Sky?
Right, so I think Kyle covered a lot of aspects with the difficulties when we go through the many bugs, and we definitely want to improve our game, and we want to get the quality to the level that makes our players happy. And we're actually very, very lucky developers. We have really blessed to have such devoted fans and caring players. And in some ways, our players are kind of our co-developers. They're definitely guiding us with the feedback that's provided on forums and Discords and all our social media. And Robert and our community team provides us with updates, keep us up to date. That's very, very important for us. And sometimes, it's very exciting. It's also you feel like you're having a family. And this family really cares about you and what you do. It also pushes you to do your best all the time. That's how I feel. And at the same time, it's challenging sometimes because you make something and then you may be misunderstood, or maybe it's not up to the expectations and you feel down. But also there are times that you feel so high up because players love what you make, and or you do something that they asked for, and that's the greatest reward. So I think that this is a blessing really of our game. Thank you to all you guys to be here to support us for such 2 years, and I hope many years longer.
That's a great answer. Piggybacking on that a little bit, when we release new stuff into the game, and then we see kind of the fan art popping up in Discord or on Twitter or on Reddit or in any of the other places players tend to congregate, that's always really satisfying to me personally. I'm sure Cecil as well is seeing kind of all the art made about the game and all the passion and creativity put into that. Speaking of Cecil, a question for you from Reddit. How do you inspire yourself when making a season? From concept art to in-game code, I want to know what inspires you when making seasons.
So, the process was started with what excites us, right, as a developer, as a team. So we discuss a lot of directions that what do we want to do for next season, right? But then there's certain rules that we have, everyone kind of agrees, which is we always want to try something new, right? Meaning we don't want to repeat similar seasons, and things that we excited about, and we pretty quickly we realize, okay, that sounds really cool, and we like to push that for next season theme, right? So I think after the pandemic, when we are remote working situation, lockdown and everything, the season of season of Sanctuary was, I think, is a breaking point, because that's when we understood that this is what do we want to do now. This is a strange time, and that really came out really good. And then after that, when we were doing Seasonal Prophecy, that's when we really ask ourselves as a game designer and game studio, let's push for a little bit more game-centric, more I wouldn't say darker, but it's a little more serious tone, and I think that's when we really understood that, wow, the best work comes out when we really felt something passionate about, and we also pay attention to what community and fans were looking for. So when we understood that both directions kind of like meets, then I think that's really exciting. So seasons are always start with the. For me as an artist, I always look at it as just like season. Like when we say season, how summer feels, it's just like hot sun and like monsoon and all this stuff. So all these things are not just one thing, right? You have to feel it. You have to feel it in your face and feel it in your heart. So you try to find that emotional direction first. Yeah. And then we work with the design team to figure out what type of story we want to tell, and if there is an opportunity to expand our lore, then that's even more exciting, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like when we talked about Season of Assembly last time, I think specifically the Goonies were also mentioned as a source of inspiration, which is one of my favorite things you've ever said. So did want to share that in case you're new and didn't get a chance to see the last stream. Next question here for Elena. So Elena, this is a very producer-y question. How far in advance do you usually plan events and seasons?
Oh yeah, thank you for this question. That's my favorite. So planning includes actually two parts. When we plan how many seasons we're going to release per year or how many events, this planning goes like really, really far in advance, many months and maybe even years in advance. Because we always want for you guys to have like something to explore, something to see, new content, new adventures or reasons to play the game. And when we define all the structure and time slots, we go into planning what we're going to do. And that's happening more close, but ideally, like we have an idea or a theme for a new season, like a few months in advance, sometimes like even closer to a year in advance. And then our amazing designers will take this idea and they see what they can make out of it. Getting closer to the like season with more and more defined idea, and we try to cover with very different and various seasons. So you will see seasons that's focused like on the emotions and connections, like the Little Prince one. It's also heavily art season, but we have a lot of art assets, and our artists have to work really, really hard to create this atmosphere of a player. And there are seasons that's focused more on the gameplay, like Think trials, fire trials, water trials. You have more things to do in the world, and maybe less art, so more focus on the trials. Or we want to tell a story. For example, Season of Dreams, it's a story, right, of a performer who dreamed always like to change her life, to perform in the future. And she also found the supporters of that. Or Season of Assembly, it's also like about like giving people around you. So this is the main theme of the season and how we align them. And you can see that seasons are different. Because we know that we have very diverse range of players. And some of them more into lore and like a narrative, some of them more into art, and some more into gameplay. So we kind of try to serve them all. For the events, it's pretty similar. We're taking the world events first and like world celebrations, and then we like bring them into the world of Sky. So we're taking the like a turn of a world event, how it would look like if we celebrated it in Sky. And obviously we like plan for all these events like for the year. But closer to them, like close like to a month or something, we define which cosmetics we're going to have, how we're going to be like themed, what would you guys like. We also very heavily rely on your feedback. So when we have a good idea and we know like that's what we want to present, we go to beta. That's why the beta is very important for us. We always like watch very, very closely what you say about the items, the colors, the theme we use, the even mechanics we presented, and we make adjustments. These adjustments may come very close to the beginning of the event of the season, and sometimes, we even adjust things in the middle of the season to make sure that players getting what they expected. So as you see, for the time frame, and like we start very early for the idea and final details in the polish, we can go up to the season release.
A part of me was like mildly concerned when we decided to do this live stream that, what if they don't prepare for the questions? But Elena, you prepared for the question, and I appreciate that.
That's my job.
Yeah, that's top tier producing, by the way. If you're curious what it looks like. Kyle, this actually leads pretty organically into the next question. Someone from Reddit asked, "What's the most important aspect of a season? The spirits, the area, or the story?"
Yeah, I think Elena kind of hit on some of these things, and I love this question because when I think about it, we've done a lot of seasons. Happy second birthday to Sky, right? And we kind of care about all of those things. I mean, we care about the spirits, we care about the areas, the world of Sky. We care about the story we're trying to tell in the season. And how I think about it is, it's really it's all kind of creating this emotional package that we want to put out. And we're very emotion first in our designs. We're emotion first in gameplay for sure. And I think, so when I think about it, it's like, I sometimes refer to us as like a bakery. There's only so many cooks. We only have so many eggs and flour. So we can only do so much every season. So we always kind of try to push the boundaries on a certain thing within the season. Elena kind of hinted at that already. Some of the seasons we've really tried to push with the spirits. Just have, our animators are amazing. They're always kind of coming up with these just funny, cute, interesting emotes. And it's awesome. It's always inspiring. Some of our seasons we've really tried to push on the world a bit more. You can think about when we were kind of working on, like Prophecy, we were really trying to add kind of trials, all these interesting things to the world of Sky, something that we've never done before. And with the story, I do think about Season of Dreams. Absolutely. I think Season of Dreams is a really great story. We're inspired by a lot of different things with that. But I think one thing that's really cool about building all these seasons is we're really building muscle. Creativity is a muscle. It's not something that you either have or you don't have. It's something that you can build. And so every time we've kind of put out new seasons, like I said, we're kind of pushing the boundaries of different things. We're building those muscles every time. So we can kind of make better seasons on all aspects, hopefully better spirits, better areas, better story. Even if we're focusing on one, they're all going to be a little better every time we put out a new season because we're building that muscle up. So one thing I'm really proud of is the season of The Little Prince. I think we've really pushed the story this time. There's, we have this, new character that's in the world. We've worked a ton on NPC logic. You can handhold the Little Prince, for example. It's really cool. Obviously, the spirits there are really amazing, very inspired. And the story, some of the most writing we've ever done. So I think that's just something that I'm proud of. I think every season we're getting better, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. But they all pretty much matter. I'm a bit of a story guy myself. I love stories, so that's probably something personally I care maybe the most about. But I think, yeah, we're getting better at all of them.
I was really afraid because, obviously Little Prince is still in progress and people haven't seen the full thing that you were going to drop spoilers. But thank you, Kyle. You did not. People can enjoy the story unspoiled. So
of course.
All right, so next question I'm going to go ahead and take as it kind of falls more in the realm of community. This was, will you ever do more live streams where the devs play with the community? So, yeah, we are looking at doing more live streams in the future. Excited to kind of share more as to what that specifically will look like. But, I think one of the coolest things about our studio is the people working at it, right? It's the people who make Sky. And I definitely want to find more opportunities to kind of introduce you all to more folks than you just get to see maybe on this stream or the stream before it, and find more ways and more touch points for players to kind of come together with the different members of the studio and to give them the chance to talk about what they do. So definitely something we're working on more in the future. For this next segment, so Genova could not be with us on the stream, very busy at all times, doing all kinds of crazy Genova things. But I did slide him some questions from the Reddit. Some of these were a little sillier, and I kind of wanted to just get his answers. So we're going to really quickly go through what I will call the Genova lightning round, where he answered some of the questions from Reddit. So question number 1, the fish that appear in ponds and lakes, why do they not have squares on their bodies? Are they just decorational? Are they sentient? Why are the fish like that? Genova responded, we have a very low polygon budget and control on how small detail can go. The fish body is shaped like a diamond, if that helps. Next one. Why do the krills look corrupted? Are they always like that, or did something happen to cause that? Genova confirming, for the lore folks out in the audience, that they are in fact corrupted. And as for what they looked like before corruption, time will tell. Another hot ticket item, as someone who works on the community team, any ideas on a krill call as a season ultimate maybe? Genova responded, that's a question for our lead audio engineer. Finally, a bit of a random fun question here, I suppose, but if Sky children could eat, or can, what do you think their favorite dish would be? Something sweet, something sugary, neither. Genova replied, light-based sweets, maybe something like mochi balls. So, yeah, there you go. Some hot off the press Genova questions, hopefully a little bit of lore there for you about food preferences and krill corruption. Next question we had from Reddit, I'm going to take this one as well. Should have probably sorted these out better. Will Sky be available for PC? So this is something now that Switch is released that we're seeing a lot more discussion about, and I did want to touch on it. Definitely something we think could be cool, and it's something we're discussing. PC definitely, has some advantages in kind of ways that people could play Sky. We're not ready to announce anything just yet, but it is something that we are actively having discussions around, and when we do come to a final conclusion, we'll be sure to announce it on our official social media channels. So thank you for your interest in that, and we're glad to see so many folks are enjoying Switch. Next question for Cecil. Cecil, are you planning, is TGC planning to release an official Sky art book?
Yeah, we are definitely working on it. So you can, we can't really say exact release date, but yeah, we're working on it. And there's so much art that needs to see the light. So there's a lot to go through, and then we're making sure we follow the legacy of. I don't know how many people actually remember the Journey book, Art of Journey book. It's such a beautiful book, so I think we definitely want to have a nice book for Sky as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so, as is the case, I was just saying with PC and really any announcement for kind of anything we officially do, whenever there's more information about that, we'll be sure to add it on our official social media channels. But yeah, did want to at least highlight, because we get that question a lot, that, something is in the works. Next question here for Kyle. What was the hardest Sky season to create, and why?
It's funny because I was thinking about all the seasons that we were creating, and I really think it is the season of The Little Prince. I think it was the first time for us we've ever tried to bring a new character from another universe into the universe of Sky. And from a creative perspective, that's very challenging. We had to think through kind of how can we make sure that Little Prince is the Little Prince, and everybody relates to it. Anyone who read the story feels good about the Little Prince in Sky. Obviously, we have to protect a lot of that, but also we have to kind of think about the world of Sky itself, right? Like how does it make sense in our world, right? What are the spirits going to be like? What are the levels? What are the areas? What are they going to be like? And I think from a creative perspective, it was a great challenge. It was fantastic to work on, and I'm super proud of the team. I think they just did an amazing job hitting all of that. Even like the production team to kind of organize all of that stuff. I think it was really, really amazing to see that and see it all kind of come together. And not only that, like I said earlier, we had really amazing amount of writing that had to go into that. TGC is not known as a big-time writing studio. As you probably all know, we don't have a ton of text in our old games, and we don't have a ton of text even in Sky. So for us, that was another just fantastic challenge. It was so much fun to work on the writing. And it was a very creative process. We talked through it. A lot of people kind of added to it. A few kind of key individuals were really working hard on it. And I think, just super cool. I can't wait for everybody to just get through and play all of it. It's so magical. We did a ton of levels and a ton of new content. There's a really amazing, Travis, he's a level designer. He was working on this amazing level And I'm so excited. Like every time I play it, there's a blue moon up in the sky. It's just pure magic every time you go in there. So that's really cool. And it kind of pushed our tech a little bit to the limit too. It's funny. We were like hitting maxes on how many birds can we have? How many particles can we have? We were kind of pushing the limits of what our game engine could even support building this season. So we even had to kind of work towards optimizing it and all those things. And we were doing all of this at the same time that we were working on Switch. We were working on shared spaces for a big new feature. We were updating our user interface a ton. So it was just a ton of work going on. It was definitely the hardest season we ever worked on. Like I said, I'm really proud of it. We're a small team, giving it our all, and hopefully everybody feels that and feels the heart that we put into it. So yeah, I can't wait for everybody to play it.
That was great, and there were a lot of amazing things, but what I think probably chat really keyed in on was more birds, that we raised the maximum bird occupancy. That's really a big deal to people who like birds, which is me and apparently a lot of chat. So thank you, Kyle. That is a great answer, and I hope as people are kind of maybe giving this particular section a second look, whether it's through watching the VOD or reading a blog recap that's going to follow, I think there's a lot of really cool perspective of what it's like to make a game in real time. So great answer there. Next up, Elena, what is it like working at TGC?
Ooh, I wasn't prepared for that question. No, it's all good. Yes. So this is one that besides like being a producer, I feel very emotional working in TGC. I actually came from like another game company, and I thought that it was scary. Literally, I was scared. I wasn't sure that I'm a right fit. I wasn't sure I was good enough. All of that. But working at TGC, it's like playing Sky. So I came there and I was like a moth that was afraid of everyone and freaking out of every candle or heart or anything, and like seeing krills and just running away, seeing Kyle and just running away, right? But everyone was so welcoming. Everyone was so kind. They took their time to explain and show me around. I felt that I was accepted like in the family. And that warm feeling, I felt like playing Sky, I also feel it like at TGC. So like in many ways, it's exactly the same. You explore new like realms. You do new quests. You talk with new like ancestors. You're getting new outfits. Maybe virtual ones since we're all like remote right now. But hopefully we'll meet like a physical world as well, like in the future. And it feels like a journey. It feels like just things that we're doing together. And I'm already like made friends, and I'm very like excited about that. I hope I can create even more like connection and meet more amazing people in the future. But for now, just an amazing place to be because people come from all over the world. As you can tell, like we have people from like all our favorite countries, from different backgrounds, very like diverse ethnicities and genders and everything. And that's just amazing. And working together in such group makes me feel like so like proud and like happy that I can be part of that and make like a world maybe a better place for it. That's a big dream, but yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, that's another great answer, and I echo the fact that working at TGC is a very unique and frankly one of a kind experience, and it's been an honor to be here in the last 7 months. So and I know a lot of folks around the studio feel that way. Next up, so as I mentioned earlier, I know there are some kind of outstanding questions that players in the community have, and I wanted to make sure that we took at least a few minutes to provide answers, such as we could at the moment, so that, you do walk away feeling like you got some of the more hot pressing issues, you got a little more visibility on those. So first up, will we have a new candle run method in the future or a new system to obtain candles without having to do all the maps? So I do want to point out, the social wax system, we introduced in some of the events prior, the daily light video, which discussed it. That is something that's continuing to be a big priority for us, and we're working to develop. We understand that candle running is definitely not something that done over time is necessarily the most stimulating activity or necessarily always the most fun. So we do want to, going forward, add more ways for players to kind of come together, enjoy each other's company, while also going ahead and getting that valuable wax to create candles. So I don't think we're planning to index more on candle running necessarily, so much as indexing in the direction of creating more social opportunities for players to come together and experience different parts of the world, take part in different events, and still accumulate wax. So next up, will there be more masculine presenting or androgynous hairstyles in the future? Short answer, yes. We saw that was a major feedback point. Can't get into specifics now, but I can go ahead and say you won't have to wait too terribly long to see some of those hairstyles that are a little bit different from maybe what you've seen in kind of the last few months. So thank you for that point of feedback. This is a great example of players kind of calling out for specific things they would like to see, and us on the community team being able to share that with the rest of the studio and actually make something happen there. So, thank you all for providing that feedback. And then let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, so this is a final one for these types of questions. As a new player who missed a lot of seasons, will there be a chance for new players to obtain previous seasons' ultimates in any way? So this is something we see a ton of discussion on, whether it's in the Discord, the Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit, wherever. This is obviously a hotly discussed item, so wanted to kind of take the time and give you a little bit of perspective from our point of view. We understand that while a lot of players are interested in acquiring ultimate gifts from prior seasons, we also understand the point of view of those players who, maybe would like to keep some aspect of that season unique to those who are part of the original run of the season. This is definitely one of those situations where there's two very, compelling viewpoints, and we want to continue to discuss it internally and try to find a solution that hopefully works for the greatest number of players. This is, in most things that we do, I would say in essentially all things we do, we try to come up with solutions that kind of benefit the greatest number of players and kind of create the most possible joy and kind of player happiness. So we're not quite ready to come to a conclusion on ultimate gifts just yet, but please be aware it is something we're hearing, both the desire to have them and the desire to also maybe maintain the original run from the existing season. So with those out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and kind of open up to everyone. And Cecil, we haven't heard from you a while as you're kind of busy over there making a really cool piece, but what's your favorite thing about working on Sky?
I think, as I mentioned about the season, how do we come up with season direction and season ideas? I think more I work on this Sky, it feels like I'm finding more about the team and myself, who actually we are and what are we passionate about. So yeah, it's actually pretty philosophical experience for me. And I think Kyle touched upon it, and we definitely designed the game based on, we put the feel. We actually have a term like field engineering and field design. So that is, I think, very special, and that's what makes me feel like every day it's just, yeah, it's very different experience.
Cool. Kyle, same question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for me it really is working. We're just working with everybody at TGC. It's like a family, like Elena said. Everybody is kind of a part of the team, a part of the family, a part of the dream that is TGC. And I think it is a dream. It's like we are trying to make the world a better place. We are really pushing to change the game industry, even to have hopefully more emotional games, more collaborative games. And it's one of those things where it seems like every day I'm learning from everybody. Working with Cecil, it's amazing. Working with Elena, Elena knows what she's doing, and I never have to think that hard. I can just ask her, hey, when do we need this by? And she'll know. And I think so. Really amazing talent across the whole team. But really, more than that, it's the amazing, heart of everybody. And I feel like we can talk about anything. We can really dive into the depths of what kind of moves us. We talk sometimes about different movies that we like, or different songs that we're listening to. Whatever it may be. It always seems like there's something interesting there. So yeah, working with everybody is always inspiring. Of course, Genova always has a lot of really good ideas. I think he sets a great example for design and direction, and that's always inspiring as well. Of course, Robert. Robert's always fun to both talk to, but also poke fun at. It's always out of love though. And but yeah, it's really just an amazing team. I feel super lucky to be a part of it. Super inspired, and do my best all the time just to help everybody and make the studio better, to hopefully make the game better, and hopefully move the world a little bit with something that we're doing. So yeah.
Really touching answer, Kyle, but I do want to point out that the little krill in my avatar is staring directly at you, so
Okay.
Be careful how much fun you poke. Elena, what is your favorite thing about working on Sky?
So I think I covered it pretty well in my previous answers, but I want to add one more thing. So you all should know that we have a special pets channel in our communication tool, and in this channel, every employee mandatory has to know, I'm joking, but we have to share the picture of their pets or video or anything related to their pet every day. And it's actually amazing, everyone sharing all these videos, 5 of their cats sleeping on the networking tables, or their amazing dogs, and their and even more unusual animals. We have very unusual pets at TGC, and that's one of the favorite things about the TGC, to be part of this community that's really care about things like pets and sharing their stories every day.
Yeah, I think we just got someone just joined the studio with a bearded dragon, I want to say.
We have 6. Yeah. We have around 6 bearded dragons so far. Yes.
Okay, sorry. I actually didn't know we had that population of bearded dragons. I kind of wonder what other crazy pets we have. I feel like this is something we need to deep dive on maybe after the stream. Maybe put some brain power into sussing out the answer there.
Others will follow up on that and present all the pictures.
That seems like a community job. I'll get on that. I think so. I mentioned it earlier, but I've been fortunate enough to be in the games industry now for 7 or 8 years, and I've worked at a handful of different studios in the capacity of being a community manager. And I think, whenever I start my day, the first thing I do is I go to the Discord, and then I go to Reddit, and then I go to Twitter, and I just look at what's going on in the community to try to make sure I'm keeping myself aware, make sure, I'm really absorbing what is the feedback from the players. And it's legitimately inspiring. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Sky has a very unique player base in a great way. I've never seen players that really go to bat for each other so much, players that are willing to lend a hug, a hello, a wave. I think when you're a part of the Sky community, you're never alone. And it kind of accepts all types of people, which is just something that's so unique in the game space. So honestly, I would say, and it's probably a cliche answer, but my favorite part of working on Sky is just getting to know that the player base that I work on behalf of is such a wholesome one, such a loving one, and one that's always looking out for each other. And I think we definitely need more of that in the world. So that got way mushier than anticipated. So we're going to change it up with the final question of the stream. Are krills bad or just misunderstood? And I would ask Cecil, but chat yelled at me for interrupting his drawing. So Elena, I want to get your thoughts on krills.
Krills. Okay. They still give me thrills. I'm really, really scared of krills, especially when I've seen them first time and I tried to escape and I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kyle should explain why the krills are so scary and intense. And actually, every time I have a daily quest there, I always lose one wing to finish the quest. So yeah, I really need explanation, Kyle. Yeah, please.
Well, I think really they're misunderstood. When they kind of rise up and they're starting to look at you. It's at first it's kind of out of love, disco's kind of playing through their head, they're having a good time, and they're really just looking for a little light in the world. Is that so bad? I think really that's the thing. It's they're just trying to survive like the rest of us, and so I don't think they're really bad inherently. It is, I'll give you a few examples. Is a crocodile bad for eating a fish? I think it's not so bad, right? They need to survive. is a shark so bad for eating a seal? It's might be a little sad, but
seals
might be a little sad.
Seals are cute. What are you doing? You can't do that.
So seals are just lonely. Like
they're just a little misunderstood sometimes,
Yeah,
And,
I don't know that I fully agree with everything Kyle just said. But what I would say is that, I think krills are adorable. I think they serve a valuable purpose in the sky ecosystem, making sure that the winged light population doesn't get out of control. And I think it's past time that chat just accepted that krills are great, and maybe just pick up a winged light every so often, like you would feed.
Yeah, you're doing a service.
Right, Cecil. What is your opinion on krill?
Krill is a symbol of balance. So
There you go.
I think it's just metaphor. I mean, it's just to allow us to expand our imagination, and sky will expand into space. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah.
Okay, well, Cecil is definitely the wisest of us here. So if he says krills represent balance and good, I think that is probably just canon at this point. And if I get yelled at later, I'm going to point at Cecil and say that was Cecil's choice.
Yeah, I mean, where there's light, there's always a little shadow, right? And yeah, you need that in the world.
Exactly. So again, scoreboard, krill's good. Just going to throw that out there. That is going to do it for the question. So thank you all for joining us. It's incredible that we get to have a second anniversary stream, right? That Sky has been open for 2 years, that you all have kind of rallied around it, that you've had fun in this game, and you allow us to continue to build out this world. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and upload this to YouTube probably in the next few days here. We're also going to do a recap log. So, we know some people don't necessarily have the time to sit down and watch 40-some minutes of video. So in respect to those people, and also maybe some folks who don't necessarily speak English, we wanted to get this, in other languages and in text form so that people could enjoy it that way. But yeah, Kyle, Elena, Cecil, thank you so much. I know you all are incredibly busy. Thank you so much for joining us, or joining me rather, and the rest of chat here. So give you a minute to say your goodbyes to chat.
Thank you, guys. It was amazing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We really love everyone in the community, and we wouldn't be doing it without you. You guys make our lives better by being there for us, and we'll do our best to be there for you. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cecil, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you everyone. So without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this still. So yeah.
So, will this photo? I assume, like last time, this photo will be shared on your social media account, and then we'll share it later on the Sky channels.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Yeah. Thank you for. Is this a cake? Just to confirm, because I know there's a lot of lore fans in the chat. Is this a cake, Cecil?
It's cake. They fly around and they found this natural rock formation. Looks like a cake. So they decide to have a birthday party there. So.
Great. Well, there you go. Confirmed. It's not cake. It's cake-shaped rock.
Yeah.
There we go. Cool. Well, that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much. Be on the lookout for more streams in the future, and watch our social media channels, as we're always announcing new and cool stuff that we're excited to share with you. So that's going to do it for all of us. So thank you, and have a great day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Cecil, did you turn off the stream?
Oh.